Shar Yichud Ve'amuna, the gateway, the path to Yichud, which is unity, God's unity, Ve'amuna, and the proper faith, the proper belief system that we have in God. Faith meaning here, what is it that we believe? These teachings have been brought to you by the Alter Rebbe in Chabad style, meaning wisdom, understanding, and knowledge, and intelligence. Yeah, that intelligence feeds our inherent faith that we already have, that's in our soul. It invigorates it. So we understand it intellectually, and it feeds that which is already there on the soul level. On the soul level. So first of all, Mazel Tov and congratulations for everybody for making it to the end of the second book. So, we are speaking about the 10 utterances, the 22 letters of creative force, that is the divine energy, the creative power of God, Koyach HaPoel B'Nifel, the power of Creator within creation. We call these letters in reference to God's divine emotions, divine attributes, where they flow from. And in reference to the divine attributes, they are mere letters. Why? Because the divine attributes are totally bound up in one with God in an absolute perfect unity, something that is beyond our understanding, that we've spoken about in previous chapters. Yet those mere letters are the creative force of me and you, of even our intelligence. So, the Alter Rebbe explains over here in this chapter that these 22 letters are able to serve as a multitude of creative forces. So what we will see is a vast array of creations within all the species, and that is due to the 22 letters. Now those 22 letters, it depends on the utterances that are in the book of Genesis. That is the general creative force of, for example, to make the Rakia, the heavens above. But then there's specifications of the heavens above. Or for that matter, making the animal kingdom. There is the generality of the animal kingdom. And then there's the specifics of every species. And within every species, every individual animal. Now, in order for all of the various creations to take place, which are mischalkim, are divided based on the 22 letters, what we need, something we've explained earlier, is not merely those letters, but we need the way those letters make a combination. That we take a letter from this word and a letter from that word. So we take the letter Aleph from Or, from light, and we take the letter Shin from Shemesh, from sun, and you put those two letters together and it makes Eish, fire, for example. Right? You take also substitutions of letters, which is the idea of taking, there's relationships between letters, so you substitute those letters. For example, Aleph is related to the first letter is related to the last letter, the second letter is related to the second last letter. There's letters that are of the same form that they're related. For example, guttural sounds like ches and ayin are related to each other, so you can substitute them. Transpositions of letters, and of course the numeric value of letters. All of this is showing two things. One is a come down of the divine light, the contraction, something that we spoke about earlier. But here we speak specifically that there's so much of variety of possibilities of bringing letters together and making a divine force. And as Alter Rebbe explains in a footnote, that these letters, the shape of the letter is significant because it is the conduit of divine energy. So therefore, parenthetically, I'm saying, if you have a mezuzah on your door, or a tefillin, or a Torah scroll, and you have the word is supposed to say echad, right, meaning one, and the letter dalid, sorry, I don't have any, the letter dalid has got a little on the right top going over it goes like this, right, sorry. But if it didn't go that little bit over there, and if it just went like that, it makes it into a reish. So instead of Hashem Echad, one God, it's Shem Acher, there's another God. It spells a different word. So listen, the meaning means, yeah, you meant the same thing, so what's a big deal? No, it's a vital force. Every letter, the shape of it is a form of vitality, godly vitality that gives life in the creative process. Therefore, when it's written also, it is, it's not, it's kosher when it's written with the dalid, when it's meant to be dalid, with the going past the leg over here. And if it doesn't, then it's invalid. It's not a kosher mezuzah or a Torah scroll. The meaning is there and we understand. It's a different letter. It's a different vital force in the creative process, and that's reflected also in the mezuzah, tefillin, or Torah scroll. So the Alter Rebbe goes further and explains that, so the letters are a vital force, but then the way those letters make a combination of a word also become a vital force. The order of the letters is part of the creative process. So like, for example, just if you have aleph first and then a base, so you have av, which means father. If you switch the letters around, they're the same letter, same vital force, but now it makes a new word, ba, to come. Meaning, it's not just a different word, it's a different force of vitality in the creative process. Furthermore, the combination of letters make a word, that word now becomes the general vital force in the creative process as opposed to the individual letters. And it become more powerful in the fact that they form now from letters to make a word. To give by way of example, each, let's say, two people can each carry 50 pounds each, right? But when they carry together, they can carry 120 pounds. Not just 100 pounds, 50 each. Why? It's because the collective whole is greater than the sum parts. In two people carrying something, likewise, the collective whole of two letters or more, whatever two letters are the minimum to make a word in Hebrew. The collective whole that makes a word is greater than the sum of its parts. Meaning that the vital force of the collective whole, that now you have a word, that word is also part of the vital force that gives the general rather than the specific divine energy in the creative process. Furthermore, the first letter of the word is the main part of the vital details in the creative process. Is this confusing? Well, probably. That's why you're not the creator. There's only one creator who creates with a vital force of letters that are divided, as we've explained, whether combinations, substitutions, transposition of letters, the gematria, the numeric value, and so on and so forth. All of these letters, we call them letters and words, and all of the subdivisions of letters and the way we just explained, all of that is a flow from the divine attributes of God Almighty. They're not separate, unattached. Just like by us, our words are not unattached to us. They flow from us. So likewise, the divine energy flow from God Almighty into the world is connected, a flow from the divine attributes of God Almighty. And in relation to the divine attributes, they're extremely removed. Removed in the sense that that the divine attributes are far and above and beyond the utterances and the letters of creative force. Yet they're totally nullified to the divine attributes. And those divine attributes are absolutely one with the divine, with God. Absolutely one. So what do we have over here? We have division. We have distinction. We have a variety of creative forces, of letters. And you could see it all separate one from the other. That'd be a big mistake. Because, as we just explained, it's totally nullified to their source of the divine attributes. And those divine attributes are absolutely one. A simplistic whole oneness with the Ein Sof, with God himself. And hence, what do we have? That this world, with the multiplicity, all the various distinctions, as they are created in that manner with the 22 letters and all of, again, the combination, substitutions, transposition of letters, gematria, and so on and so forth, are in fact Hashem Echad. Baruch Shem Kavod Le'olam Va'ed. So we have here a divine unity that gives rise to distinction, and in that distinction it is all the oneness of God. All the oneness of God. And that, folks, is Nishlam Chelik Sheni Bezos Hashem Yisborach V'Yisad. The conclusion of the second part, with the help of God, may He be blessed and exalted. Mazel tov to you. Mazel tov to us. That we have done these 12 chapters together. Amazing accomplishment. Of course, tomorrow is another day and we will continue the third book. But right now, so, Louise, Marty, Shoshana, Vina from Virginia, Yoel is with us from Philadelphia. Sandy, thank you for joining. Good morning. Luciana, thank you. Letta from San Diego, Shavua Tov. Thank you, Mohammed, for joining. Heather from North Connecticut. Bachi and David from Montreal. Stephanie and Michelle and Sarah and Golda. Okay, Golda, yes. And William from South Korea. All right, folks. again, great accomplishment to be able to learn a whole book together. Of course, we're going to have to go over it again so we have clarity, and God willing, we'll do that. In the meantime, sharing is caring. Please share the Alter Rebbe's teachings with others. I'm Rabbi Ronnie Fine, coming to you from my home in Montreal, Canada. It's a privilege and a pleasure to share with you the Tanya. Have a wonderful day, a Shavua Tov, a good Vach, a wonderful good week. Be well.